One comment I read recently really stuck with me. They said that air fryers aren't really a replacement for every cooking method or your stove. They're more of a helper appliance. And honestly, after years of using air fryers almost daily and testing a lot of different models, I mostly agree. Because I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is expecting an air fryer to do absolutely everything. Your oven, your stove, your microwave, your deep fryer, all in one machine. And while air fryers are really good at some things, there are other things I still prefer cooking another way. So in this video, I want to share what I actually use my air fryer for after years of real use, what I think air fryers do really well, and where I think people sometimes expect a little too much from them. If you're new here, hi, I'm Meem. I spend a lot of time testing air fryers because not all air fryers cook the same. I review them, compare them, test recipes, and share the things that actually worked for me after years of daily use. So if you're trying to get better results from your air fryer or you're thinking about buying one, consider subscribing. I test air fryers, compare them, and share what actually works in real world use. Now let's start with the biggest reason I still use an air fryer almost every day. For me, that reason is simple. Crispy food without deep frying. Wings, fries, chicken strips, fish sticks, frozen snacks. This is probably what I use my air fryer for most often. Now, does it taste exactly the same as deep frying? No. And I think it's important to be honest about that. If you're expecting exactly the same results as dropping food into hot oil, you'll probably be disappointed. But if you want something crispy with much less oil, less mess, and less cleanup, I think air fryers do a fantastic job, especially frozen foods. Honestly, frozen foods and air fryers were made for each other. Most frozen foods already contain some oil, so they crisp up really nicely. After all these years, this is still one of the main reasons I use an air fryer. With two active hungry boys, it's been a lifesaver for getting snacks on the table between school, activities and sports. Sometimes they just need something quick and the air fryer makes that really easy. Another reason I reach for my air fryer all the time is convenience. Chicken, burgers, steaks, even homemade pizza. These are the kinds of meals I make in my air fryer all the time. Food that I want cooked fairly quickly without turning on my big oven. As a busy mom, there are plenty of days where I just want dinner done. I don't want to wait for a large oven to preheat. I don't want to heat up the whole kitchen. I just want to put the food in, get on with something else, and have dinner ready. And that's where air fryers fit into my life really well. Not because they're magical, but because they're convenient. The convenience goes beyond just cooking quickly too. Sometimes I'm only making lunch for myself. Sometimes my kids want different things, or one wants spicy chicken while the other doesn't. Instead of pulling out multiple pans or cooking things one after another, I can usually fit everything into the air fryer and cook it side by side. It's one of those little things that doesn't sound exciting, but in day-to-day life it can save a lot of time and effort. Honestly, I think this is one of the most underrated benefits of owning an air fryer. It's not always about cooking better food, sometimes it's simply about making life easier. If I had to rank the most underrated use for an air fryer, reheating would be near the top of the list. Pizza, fried chicken, roast potatoes, anything that was originally supposed to be crispy. The microwave heats food and often leaves it soft or soggy. The air fryer helps bring some of that texture back, and that's a big difference. Now, I don't use it for everything. Eggs, even though it's possible, I still prefer using the stove because it's faster and I already have a stove. If you're in a dorm, camping, or don't have access to one, then sure, why not use the air fryer? Soups, pasta, rice, definitely not. But for foods that are supposed to be crispy, the air fryer often gives much better results. Another thing I regularly use my air fryer for is vegetables. Potatoes, yams, carrots, even broccoli, especially now that I use the little water trick I learned while testing the Typhur air fryer. And once you figure out how to match the timing so your vegetables and protein finish at roughly the same time, it can be a huge time saver. Again, it's not replacing every cooking method. Some vegetables I still prefer steamed, some I still cook on the stove, and honestly, I still haven't gotten Brussels sprouts right in an air fryer. No matter what temperature I try, they usually char on the outside before the inside is cooked the way I like it. If anyone has figured out the secret to Brussels sprouts, let me know in the comments, because I've tried a lot of different temperatures and still haven't nailed them. This is probably where I differ from a lot of content online. One thing that helped me set realistic expectations was understanding how most air fryers actually cook. The heating element is usually sitting above the food. Most air fryers mainly heat from the top. The heating element is usually sitting above the food. Yes, hot air circulates around the basket, but in most models, the strongest heat is still coming from above, and that's why certain foods can be a little disappointing. Things like omelets, some cakes, certain baked dishes. I know online it sometimes looks like air fryers can do absolutely everything, and sometimes they can, but personally, I think people need to be realistic, because a lot of videos show you the top, the beautiful golden top, the perfectly brown top, but they don't always show you the underside. And honestly, I never trust an air fryer recipe unless I can see how the bottom turned out too. Especially for foods that are supposed to cook evenly. Sometimes the top looks amazing, then you flip it over and discover a very different story. That doesn't mean air fryers are bad, it just means they have strengths and weaknesses like every appliance. Just because an air fryer can do something doesn't necessarily mean it's the best tool for the job. Despite how often I use my air fryer, there are still plenty of things I prefer making another way. Large family meals, soups, pasta dishes, foods that need stirring, foods cooked in sauces. Those are usually easier on the stove or in the oven. And honestly, I still use my toaster oven for toast. I know some people make toast in their air fryer, but I've never really liked the results. I find it turns out drier and almost brittle compared to toast from my toaster oven. That's really the theme of this whole video. Just because an air fryer can do something doesn't necessarily mean it's the best tool for the job. So after years of daily use, here's where I've landed. For me, air fryers are fantastic for crispy foods, frozen foods, reheating leftovers, cooking vegetables, small portions, and quick meals. Those are the situations where I reach for mine again and again. But I don't expect them to replace every cooking method. And honestly, I think that's why I've enjoyed using them for so long. Because once you understand what they're actually good at, they become much easier to appreciate. If you're still trying to get better results from your air fryer, I've put together a video sharing the biggest air fryer tips I learned after years of daily use. Watch that video next because it may save you some trial and error. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.